Hello everyone, happy Monday. It's Christine from Christine's Stamping Spot with you again for another Mystery Monday video. And it is hot here. We are under something called a heat dome in Western Canada, and it goes down into Washington and possibly California, and we're in the 30-degree temperatures. They're forecast for the entire week. So we are inside where it's a little bit cooler. And we are going to make this card today. It is another take on paper piercing, except our pattern is figured a little bit differently on this card, and I thought it was really, really neat. So what's great for this is you can use up any of your cardstock scraps, or if you have designer series paper you want to use up, just pick out some coordinating colors or some colors that you really like, and you can make many of these and use up some of your paper stash. So I'm going to show you how we did this. So we're going to start with a piece of basic black, and that will be our base. Cut it 8.5 by 5.5. All right, and then we have another layer of basic white, which is 5 1/4 by 4, and we can put that down. So we're going to put that on top, like so. And then we are going to work with the piece that we're going to layer our strips on. So I've cut this at 5 by 3 3/4. It's just another piece of basic white. You could use probably whatever color you would like, as long as it doesn't show through too much. So I'm just going with white, and we're going to stick on these strips of paper. Now there's a couple ways you could do this. You could just use Tombow glue, and so you have a little bit of wiggle room for your paper. You could just cover it with adhesive and do it that way. But I'm going to use an adhesive sheet. Now, I think you all know that I'm a big fan of our adhesive sheets, and I like that they aren't really messy. They're a little bit sticky, yes, but I won't have glue seeping through and be worried that I've covered enough with adhesive. So I've cut this down to the same size, 5 by 3 3/4. You're going to peel off that backing, and then you're just going to stick this down on top of your basic white. Just give it a little press. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to just remove this top layer, which will expose all of our adhesive underneath. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, it's kind of shiny, so that is all the adhesive that has been stuck to our white. So I'm actually just going to bring out my silicone sheet for this. I just think it might be a little bit easier to see. Okay, so now we're going to add some strips. So like I said, you can pick any color that you like. I went, for this particular pattern, I went with basic white, with basic black, and then I have some Coastal Cabana and some Bermuda Bay. I really love the Bermuda Bay and the Coastal Cabana together. They remind me so much of summer and of the beautiful colors of the ocean. Just very calming and cool colors. So then you can just sort of decide what kind of pattern or what order you'd like your colors to go into. Now these strips, all of them are cut at 1/2 inch wide, and I have different lengths, but if they go over, we're going to be trimming off the excess, so that's not a problem. Okay, so the first one we're going to start with is our diagonal. Now this one you want to put sort of from the bottom corner and then just up about maybe 2/3 to the side. Okay, and that's going to sort of be your anchor piece for when you're going to attach all of your others. Okay, so I'm going to follow my sample. So I'm starting with white, and then I'm going to butt up a piece of basic black. I'm just going to turn this. It's a little bit easier for me to do it this way. I hope my head won't get in the way. So I'm just going to butt that up right next to the white. And then we're going to go with our Bermuda Bay. Okay, like so, and just push it up against, trying not to have very much white show through. And then we're going to go with our Coastal Cabana, like so. And then we're going to start over. We're going to go with our white. And then I've got a teeny weeny little corner. I'm just going to stick my black on here. I will probably just trim that off. Okay, so before I go to the next part, I'm going to trim these off. You can see how wide they are there. So I'm just going to take my snips and just follow my base here and just cut off all this excess. And you can use some of these longer pieces on the other part that we're going to be layering. Okay, so let's just cut these off, these little ones. Okay, like so. So there you see it's starting to take shape. Okay, so we have a couple of smaller pieces that we can still use. Tiny ones. We'll see if we have any little corners to fill in. Okay, so now we're going to start layering our pieces this way. So I'm going to sort of start kind of in the middle, and I'm going to use another piece of basic white. So I'm going to go now. Always try, and I found this worked for me, make sure you have a very straight edge on the edge that you're going to line up along this center piece. Otherwise, your paper might start to go a little bit funny and not sit quite straight. So I'm going to start with the white and then just follow my pattern like I did down here. So I'll go white, and now I'm going to go black. Again, my straight edge, and we'll butt that right up against the white. Okay, and then we'll go with another piece of Bermuda Bay. And I think I might just sort of trim these off here as I'm going. And then we're going to use our Coastal Cabana. And I just love this diagonal sort of pattern. I think it's really quite interesting. And these colors just seem to pop, which is nice. Okay, then we're back to our white. And then we need a little piece of black, so I still had one from the bottom section. Actually, maybe I'll turn it this way, just to make sure I get full coverage. Okay, so there's that. And we'll turn it this way. Now we're going to finish that side. So now I have to start with Coastal Cabana again. Okay. So I'll lay this down flush against the white. Okay. And then we're going to go to Bermuda Bay. And then back to basic black. Kind of a shorter piece here. Oh, maybe not. Good way to use up some of your little scraps too. You can just cut them to size. Okay, so let's stick the black on, and then we're back to white. That can stick over a tiny bit. And we have a teeny weeny little corner here, which I'll stick our Coastal Cabana on. I had a little piece left over. Hopefully that will adhere there. Okay, so now we can cut all of these edges off. And then we will see how this turned out. This would even be nice to do, I thought, like with all the graduations happening. You know, you could easily do one of these for a graduation card if you wanted to use the school colors in your stripes. And then, you know, maybe just embellish it a little bit. That would be cool too. So there you go. There is what it looks like with all of our stripes attached. Is that not just really bright and colorful? I really like how that pattern turned out. Okay, so now we can attach that to our base here. And we will put it on the white. And then I didn't want to, you know, cover up a lot of this with embellishments or other things. So I just did a simple tag. And I cut a piece of Bermuda Bay from the Stitch So Sweetly framelits plus the white. And the message I used was, let's celebrate you. I kind of like the font of this. I didn't want anything too scripty or formal. I wanted something that was a little more playful. And I really liked the font and how this was. So we're going to use that and stamp that with our black memento. And I'll see if I can get this centered here. Excuse my head. Okay, that's not too bad. And then lastly, also in the set, there's a little bit of kind of confetti and that sort of thing. So I'm just gonna sort of add a teeny little bit around the edges in Bermuda Bay ink. So I'm just gonna ink up some of this. And just randomly, I'm just going to, I don't know if you can see that, sorry. Just sort of randomly stamp it around. I'm trying not to cover up the lettering too much. But it just makes it a little more playful. And you don't have to do this step. I mean, it's just something a little bit extra to give it a little pop of color there. All right, and now we can layer these on top of each other. So I'm just gonna layer that on the Bermuda Bay here. And then I'll pop this up with some dimensionals on the card base. So I'll just put a couple here. Oops. Okay, and you can place this wherever you like. I mean, if you wanted it down at the bottom, that's good. In the center, I think I'm going to try down at the bottom this time. And so it's still, a lot of those stripes are visible, which is good. And then I'm just going to add, for a little more bling, just a couple of rhinestone jewels. Just to pop a little bit of bling on the card. So I think I'll just put maybe 3 of the smaller ones in here. I had some small ones, oops, here too. Oh my gosh, and then they get so small and you can't get a hold of them. Or they disappear everywhere. See? This one doesn't want to stay, isn't that fun? Come on, buddy. You can do it. Let's go. There we go. I think that's not too bad. Oh my gosh, he really doesn't want to stay. I think I better just leave it, not play with it anymore. And there you go, the 2 versions of the paper piercing card, another take on paper piercing. I know we have done some before where they were different sizes and different shapes and more in a vertical or horizontal, but I really like the diagonal layout of these and the colors. And like I say, you could use whatever colors you wanted and it would be just really, really awesome. So I hope you really like that card. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. I will post the measurements on the post. And if you require any other supplies to make anything, our retired product from the January to June mini is expiring and retiring on June 30th. So on Wednesday is the last day to purchase anything there. And there are still some good deals to be had. So you can certainly visit my website at christineludwig.stampinup.net. And we will see you again next time. Have a safe and cool week. Bye for now.